Shalom, it's me, Sudden Skye, and welcome back to Mighty Switch 4's Hyperdrive Edition. And I'm going to be showing off Pixel Patty, who's just the 3DS reskin of regular Patty. And yeah, her animation is still as fluid as ever. And it's nice. I don't know really which style I prefer. They're both good in their own ways, but the regular Patty works because I guess it's she doesn't contrast with what everything else looks on the screen. Pixel Patty just looks all blocky. But you know, I like the charm that goes into the pixeled Patty, old Pixel Patty, Patty Pixel. So I guess I don't know. Choose what you want. It doesn't really affect the gameplay all that much. Here they create a new unlock door mechanic where you have to destroy these weird shelled creatures to progress. I don't think that guy was necessary to destroy, but the way you defeat him is he has a hard face, which is impenetrable. But if he charges at you and you could jump over him, you could shoot him from the back, and that is where you'll find his weak spot. The shelled snail things with the spikes on them can only be destroyed with the switching block mechanic, where you slam them into the screen and then crack the screen. So I hope you're insured. But speaking of the art style that WayForward has, I feel like it's very easy to just recognize their art style that they have, because you could just see any picture that they have and it'll be like, oh, that was clearly drawn by someone from WayForward. They have their characters have this distinct look that makes them look all cutesy and whatnot. So, yeah, they're easily recognizable from that aspect. But like I said in the previous part, WayForward has been credited for their creation of Shantae, one of their earlier titles, and you know, and probably what they're most known for. I'm personally tried out the well, before I get into that, here's a new mechanic in the game. They're red and blue blocks, and if you stand whichever color block that you're standing on, if you use the switching block mechanic, that color will not switch. And that is the basic idea of that mechanic. And it gets a little more tricky later on, so you know, watch out for that. I mean, it starts to get downright annoying in one part, which actually I did have to practice on the stage that I did get stuck on with this. So yeah. But Shantae, I tried their the Game Boy, their first Shantae title on the Game Boy Color, and I just could not get into it. It felt very archaic to me. I hear people say that you should try the newer ones because it's a little less archaic, but I have yet to do that. So soon I will one day. But Shantae looks really fun, and you know, I'd wish to get into it and have as much fun as everyone else. I could try out the recently released, and by recently I mean 2 years ago they released Shantae Pirate's Curse. And I was looking to check that out, so maybe one day. Maybe one day. Oh, and the little thing that I forgot to mention, that Chihuahua that I passed by is the checkpoint of this stage. So if you lose a heart, that's where you'll spawn again. But if you lose all 3 hearts, that checkpoint becomes nullified, and you have to start from the beginning of the stage. But as of late, Shantae created a Kickstarter, much like Shovel Knight. In fact, an interesting connection to Shovel Knight that this game has. The composer of the music of Mighty Switch Force is also the composer of Shovel Knight. Jake Kaufman is actually his name, which is funny because these are like indie titles, and you know they share a lot of similarities with each other. So yeah, good. I guess it makes sense why I would find this game fun. Which I didn't intend for that to happen. I didn't immediately play Shovel Knight and then just be like, ooh, let's do another indie title. I was actually planning to do a completely different game. A very much more ambitious game that might go on for a little longer than I would hope for it to go on. But I wanted to do some short games before I decide to take that one on. And I want it to be a surprise. I want it to be like, whoa, Skye, what you doing? What are you doing with your life? Are you insane? But yeah, we're just flying through these stages. Let's go back to the regular patty mode. Yes, this stage I actually had to do over. That is the death animation of Patty, which shares some similarities to Samus's death animation in Super Metroid. She actually, when Samus dies, she actually becomes naked and explodes or something. But I don't think Patty exactly becomes naked. She just takes off her police officer hat and her weird little backpack, which I assume is what controls these switching blocks. I mean, it could be just the hat. It does have like a little antenna thing that is popping out, and every time we switch, it just blinks. Or no, that's the siren thing on it. Never mind. I have no idea what her getup means, clearly. Oh, we missed one more convict at the top there. I don't know exactly what these girls' plan were. Like, what were they doing? They just escape and then like send aliens and monsters or to run amok. Okay, not exactly the most diabolical plan that you could have had. And this part here is I wanted to leave this in because this is what Pixel Patty looks like when she dies. Yes, that is that is what that looks like. But what's a little confusing is she looked blonde in her Pixel Patty form, but she looked more of like a brunette in her regular form. So I mean, it could be just my eyes playing tricks on me, but that's what it appeared to look like. But who knows? Also, another similarity that this game shared with Metroid, besides the female protagonist of the story. At the end, once you clear the game, you get a special little picture, much like in the end of most Metroid games, and I think if you clear the stages quick enough, you also get another special picture, which will be a surprise for you guys at the end. some what's it called? Some incentive for you to continue watching this LP, eh? I got you guys by the throat. You're gonna be wondering this whole time, what's at the end of this game? Well, I guess you're gonna have to wait and find out. And a funny thing that this game does, which I guess it's kind of cool of them to use their limited resources to their advantage, because I can't really imagine that much money was put into a game like this, especially for how short it is. But it is fun, so I'm not complaining. It reuses stage design elements, so the farther you go in, the more, I guess, recognizable the stages will be to you. Because there's some later stages that'll share the same layout as each other, but more difficult in the long run. So I guess it's not too terribly lazy of them, but I mean, I like it when a game does that, when they used it to their advantage. I don't see any bad sides to it. Well, I do see the bad sides, but I mean, I don't see it as a bad side. And that is the last convict. After we take down this one last block, that will be the end of this part. And I will see you guys in the next part later.